Hi, welcome to Module 3. Let's keep rolling along here. So the content formula, this builds on everything we've just talked about. First of all, declaring your company's 5 to 10 must-know key messages, step A. Step B, determining our major milestones, events, and happenings for the year ahead. Really important to at least have something each month or each quarter that's notable and we're going to weave in as one of our jump-off points for our day-to-day content that we just talked about. Number 3, identify our monthly sales and marketing themes that relate to those big events, milestones, and happenings. And then Number 4, determine our 3 to 4 content pillars and 5 to 10 content categories that we can really divide our content into, and then ways to make it super interesting and full of variety to keep people coming back for more. Number 5, brainstorm our weekly content topics for the keystone pieces, that tier 1 important stuff. And if we can, we have 4 pillars and we come up with 13 topics per pillar. Amazing. We actually now have 52 weeks of keystone content topics, which is awesome. And if we are working a month in advance, like we'll talk about in the next module, we take 4 of those and we just get them done week over week with a little bit each week. And we are laughing all the way to the content bank. And finally, number 6, that's F, we drop them into our content bank. And that is our scheduling tool if we're doing it digitally or it's maybe just a PDF like we were just using. But either way, we are actually creating those topics and committing to them so that then we can write them and flesh them out and reap the rewards of that previously brainstormed content topic. So we're executing all of this with the help of a planning tool. And whatever that looks like for you, maybe you have a spreadsheeting system already, or you're using Trello or Asana or some other project management tool that's allowing you to brainstorm and then draft and then, move along if you have other people in your team, like move along to graphic design and video or editing, publishing, follow up, maybe you're boosting your content, etc. But we need both a planning tool and a project management tool that's going to keep us on track. So it's not all willy-nilly. And then again, it becomes very knee-jerk, promotional, salesy, last-minute content without any kind of good, meaty stuff behind it. There's nothing deep about promotional content. So the content planner from Social School is one option. This is one of our tools in the tool shop that I just love. And it's got several columns, which I'm going to take us through here in a second. But on the whole, the idea is that we're committing to our content strategy in the first few columns so that we can reference it easily. And then we've got columns where you see the images where we're dropping in our topics. So you've got 4 pillars, 4 columns, and then you're going to drop in your content topics and then label them accordingly to whatever category they might fall into or whatever date they need to be published on and other things that you can do in there as well. So let's take a closer look. The first column, we're going to do what we just discussed in Module 2, and we name our content pillars, categories, and the platforms that we're committed to. What are those Tier 1, 2, and 3 platforms for you? So our suggestion here is those 4 pillars. You can use our samples there or create your own. And then 5 to 10 categories and 5 to 6 tiers, or platforms, that would include Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Under my head here, you can see a little bit better there. Perhaps 1 to 2 of those Tier 1 platforms, so video and blog. 1 to 2 of those Tier 2s, maybe that's Instagram Live and e-newsletters. And then 3 to 5 Tier 3 platforms, maybe that's Instagram feed, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Something like that. You'll notice here we talk about, in that second section, the option for quarterly product-based pillars. If you like, this is what we do, is we have big programs that run every quarter. These are our live taught, not always available courses and certificate programs. And so if we know we're doing our website launch lab in Q1 and it runs in March, then January, February, March's content has a lot of that weaved into it. It's not our only, focus, but we have removed ourselves from the emotional pillar and we're doing it in a product-based pillar according to our sales and revenue targets for that quarter. We're still weaving in a lot of filler content, so it's not all website related for the 3 months as we're leading up to that program. However, it's got a little bit more focus on it, and we can do additional Q&As and live events and workshops and ebooks and whatever else it is around there. So perhaps that resonates with you. It doesn't have to be a product-based pillar or even, stacking your pillars into each quarter. That might not work for you at all, but it's there if you want to go that way. The last piece of it is your content categories. There's some suggestions for you there. You can eliminate in that card. It's got all of those pre-programmed, and you can eliminate the ones that you don't think you'd ever use, or leave them all in there. And then you have lots of variety to choose from as you're creating your topics and categorizing each of them. The next one, this is really important. We're going back away from being the creative, coming up with topics and pillars, into the tactics that are straight up, what's your frequency? What are you committing to consistently? And if we are doing what we just discussed, so tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, great. And how often per week? Great. And then what days of the week? Like, when is this going to fall? So really important to think about that as we get even more detailed into what we call our weekly content schedule. So it's not just the frequency or cadence that we're committing to per platform, it's the weekly schedule. And this is where, as I suggested, maybe your tier 1 content is released on Monday. It's pre-recorded or pre-shot or pre-written, great. Or maybe not, maybe it's an Instagram live. That's your jump off point, no problem. Then you're going to transcribe that live video, or you've already transcribed your pre-recorded video, and that becomes a blog post that goes out on Wednesday. And then it also turns into sound bites for your e-newsletter that goes out on Fridays. So thinking about what this looks like for you, if you're doing, as we suggested in the last screen, 20 social posts per week, so 4 times 5 platforms, they can be repurposed, by the way. That could be literally 4 posts that get rewritten for 5 platforms if you want. That's not the end of the world. Chances are your people won't see them on each platform because algorithms do a whole heck of a lot of filtering. So it's not like it used to be where everybody would see the same post. But if you really believe in that post and it's stemming from your tier 1 content and you want it to be on each of Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google My Business, and Instagram stories, great. Just tweak it a little bit or make unique imagery for each of them or change the wording here, there, and whichever way you need to, or the hashtag strategy or whatever it is. So don't be afraid to repurpose and reuse some of your posts across various platforms. Most importantly though, when is it going out and how are we going to work backwards and make it happen? Step 4. We're going to add our weekly topics. So this is the part I mentioned that is where the calendar or the planning tool really starts to continuously change. You've outlined your strategy in the first few columns, and now we're consistently adding topic ideas on the fly, in one big batch brainstorm, whatever you want to do. This is why I love Trello, because it's a digital sticky note taking platform. Yes, we've built this big template for you that you can use and purchase from our tool shop, but you can create one yourself as well and just have topics that you can fire up through your app or desktop anytime. Trello's so great for that. So with the 52 topics, using the weekly topic template card, we're going to rename that card for what the topic is. We're going to add the pillar, the category, and the stage of completion if it's in the queue or underway or, miles away. Add a due date, which is great because then we can see it in calendar view when we switch to that. And then flesh out the topic idea. So when it comes time in the nicer method, which we'll look at, we can go in and we can add a bit more juice to each of those weekly topics and start to, again, flesh them out and see them to fruition, and from conception and just a title to draft stage and then, edited stage and then publishable stage, which is obviously really important. We can also utilize a task checklist, which we've built in there for you, that really helps the workflow, and you can edit it to your own process if you like, but there's some great suggestions in there about how to keep this rolling out according to our nicer method. So a sample bank, if you want, into ours, 52 topic ideas by content pillar. So when you've got all that brainstorming happening with your content pillars and categories, and again, weaving in your sales and marketing themes, you can start to see how you drop them in, you tag them accordingly. And then if I was to date each of these or drag them into maybe my Q3 column, if I created one, I can put dates and due dates and publish dates on each of them, and then really start to see it come to life with the various pillars and categories, keeping it interesting. So this is what that would look like. Let's say in the month of May, we're moving from our website or pillar 1 content into pillar 2, and that's all about community and content because we're launching our content club, our membership program. Great. So we're going to have a bit of filler content in there, but a whole lot about communities and the benefits of collaboration and all the things that I know people need to hear about that are going to help us sell our program. Finally, we're going to be able to upload it to our automation tool. And this is where we're going to look at, in the final module of this course, some various scheduling tools. And we talk a lot about these in our tools and tech course, which is the lab right before this one, number 204. But it's up to you. Many of you already have one that you're utilizing and loving, whether it's Hootsuite or Sprout Social or Meet Edgar. There's so many out there. But we want to take it to the finish line. And you might also be using one of those robust content planning tools and removing Trello from the mix. Trello is not connected to a social planning tool. It's just a team collaboration, project management, brainstorm, sticky note tool. So I love it because it's a perfect way to plan your editorial calendar. But then if we don't pull it out and actually get our content plugged into our automation and scheduling tools, again, we're falling short and making excuses. So many of us do. I just want to show you a simpler version of that content planning tool in case you're interested. This is just the blog planner. We call it that in the tool shop. The idea being that if you felt overwhelmed by the last one, no problem. If you want to just create a content bank, here it is. So you've got your 4 pillars and you're creating those cards, those topic cards, and you're moving them around, putting dates on them and starting to build your tier 1 content calendar. And then if you want, you can pull them into the columns on the right, draft, edit, publish, analyze, boost, etc. So that you're moving things along like a Kanban board. Stages of production. There's a few other tools for you if you're interested in the tool shop, but the blog planner and the content planner and the content plan or content strategy kit are the big ones that we're talking about here today that could be really helpful for you if needed. So here we go. Detailed weekly post planning in order to create your content in advance and keep it rolling out on track. So we're going to take the exercises that we did in module 2 and just go a little bit deeper here and talk about, again, for the following time frame. So let's say 3 months. Let's commit to the next quarter. Starting on Monday or September 1st or whatever it is, you commit to how many posts per week. And this is, again, across which platforms. So that's the third row there. Across these tier 1 platforms. So tier 1, platform A, YouTube. Number of posts, 1 per week. Tier 1 platform B, Instagram Live. Number of posts per week, 1. And then across these tier 2 platforms, tier 2 platform A, blog. Number of posts per week, 2. Tier 2 platform B, e-newsletter. Number of posts per week, 1. Holy cow, I better make this happen. How am I going to do that? Oh, we'll get there. And then across these primary tier 3 platforms, tier 3 platform A, Instagram. Tier 3 platform B, TikTok. Tier 3 platform C, LinkedIn. And number of posts per week, 5, 5, and 7. There we go. So then I can, in the final piece here, go live day and time of my posts each week. If you can get there, you are so far ahead of 99% of the content marketers out there. These are the kind of goals and commitments that matter and that we now find a way to get done. And don't worry, when you start doing it in advance, like the next module is going to teach you, it is so much fun and it's so easy because you sit down and you batch it a little bit each week and then you have it rolling out when the next month starts. So we're going to go there in the next module. It's called the editorial process, and I can't wait to see you there.